Alright, welcome back to the channel. Trying this new thing. It's called Hear Me Out, where as though give you my take on like certain movies and certain TV shows and what I think they was really about, and like try to jump into like a little deeper themes that might have been like glossed over throughout the film or the movie or whatever it was. But this first one, like I said, since I watched Obsession with my girl, I didn't record it for the channel. It was a good movie. I left my review of it in a separate video that I am going to upload. So I left my review of Obsession. God damn, I can't even talk. I left my review of Obsession in a separate video. So this one, I want to like just go over like what I think the movie like touched on, but really ain't jump into, because they was more focused on the plot of the movie. This is my take on it. You had Nikki, you had that little whole that friend group with the guy. I want to say his name is Ian, but it probably wasn't. The other chick name was Sarah. Then you had Bear. My thing is, I think Bear was a serial killer. Or if he wasn't a serial killer, he was about to start being a serial killer. The way I'm looking at it is like it was like the origin stories of somebody that could have been a serial killer or that would have been a serial killer if Nikki didn't come into play. Somebody that would have been a serial killer, and Nikki was either going to be his first victim or that was his next victim, because like he had like a unnatural obsession with Nikki. The movie even started when they were sitting down in a restaurant. He was going over, he's spilling out his heart to the waitress, and to where as though like he was already so like scared to talk to her, but he had such strong feelings for somebody that he never had like a romantic thing with. Normal people don't do that. People have crushes, yeah, true, but they don't sit there and practice spilling out their heart to a person that they never even explore those feelings with. They were just in a friend group. They all worked together, so of course they around each other all the time. Then they had the little trivia thing. So of course, they working together, then they going out together off work, and they having fun together. A friend is a friend. A friend ain't somebody like, oh my God, I can't, what do you say, you can't live without her, and he don't want to tell her that she's too good because then he might lose her. Like that was already weird from the jump, and it was already awkward to be spilling out your feelings, pouring out your feelings, you see what I'm saying, to somebody that you consider your friend. Obviously she didn't feel that way towards him, or else it wouldn't have been such a awkward situation. It wouldn't have been something that was like, damn, well, I don't know if I should tell her this type of way because I don't know if she feels this way about me. I mean, that right there don't make him a serial killer. That just make him hella fucking weird, to where those like, dude, what the fuck is you doing? Even his homeboy was like, yo, what is you doing? Like, don't do that. Like, his homeboy, whether he was having sex with her or not, his homeboy was always jumping into the picture like, yo, don't do this, don't make it awkward, don't say this at the trivia game, don't do this, that, and the third. So my thing is, he was either a showing off serial killer, and he was obsessed with Nikki, about to make her his next victim, or he was so obsessed with Nikki that she was about to be his first victim in a line of females that he objectified or projected these feelings onto, and it was no type of way that person was going to exhibit those feelings towards him. Which is kind of like what I think all serial killers do. They, personify these people for some kind of reason, some kind of way, and they end up acting on these feelings and these ideas that they have in their head towards a person. And next thing you know, person either somewhere down in the ditch telling them with a motherfucker telling you to put the lotion in the basket, and you somewhere dead or locked up in a glass cell because a motherfucker think you more into him than you really are. So, but that's just the way they like to display it in cinema anyway. Like I said, reference Silence of the Lamb and You with what the hell was that? Joe Goldberg. Yeah. My thing is, like I said, I think Bear was a serial killer, and Nikki was about to be his next victim. Because everybody focused on Nikki and how she was acting after he made the wish. She was acting strange because she was under the curse. She wasn't the monster of the show, of the movie, because it was the curse making her act like that, and she was trying to break free, and she had moments of where she tried to communicate outside of what was actually being said and done. It wasn't that she was the fucking monster. Bear was the monster the whole time. Like, no matter which way you look at it, he was the bad guy the whole fucking movie. He was scared to talk to her. He made the wish. Saw her acting crazy, shitting on herself, standing in the living room for hours. Made the cat sandwich and shit like that. He see all of that and he don't stop. He don't try to reverse it or try to stop it until everybody else started noticing that Nikki's acting different. So it's like he was fine with her doing all of that as long as there wasn't nobody else noticing. Once everybody else started noticing that, like trying to break free while they was at the party and hitting herself in the head. The other two friends, they was coming out with like, okay, the father's not dead. Now they was saying that the guy was hooking up with her on a regular basis. So if that was true, he already typed because like, damn, I was getting the pussy first. Now she just giving it to him and she all lovey-dovey over him. So of course he's looking at it. And then the other friend that actually had a crush on Bear was like, you know, the way she's acting is not healthy for you. She's using you, So in his mind, that's when he like, oh shit, everybody else noticing what I created. So that was the only time he really tried to like reverse what was going on, because he was fine with everything. Like, he was fine with her being at the house, being up under him all the time, staring at him while they watching a movie, all the sex he was getting. So he was fine with all of that. But once his friends started noticing that things was going crazy, the bitch was acting like she was acting, it was like, oh shit. Now I gotta try to reverse this curse. The thing that made me, you know, start thinking like, okay, this man, he's just not somebody that's in love with somebody else. He's a short enough serial killer. Is not the opening scene where they're in the diner, but the next scene where he come home and the cat is dead. Got into some pills. How the fuck the cat open up a bottle of medicine? Like the bottle of medicine is already childproof, so it definitely cat proof. They ain't got no thumb. They can't like wrap their tail around the bottle and open that bitch up with their mouth and shit like that. So you already got all these pills for no reason. I don't know if they said they was his grandmother's pills or what, but when he opened up the cabinet, you can see it's filled with pills. All types of medicine bottles. And you never once see his grandmother through the whole show. I don't know if he's mentioned that his grandmother died, but he in his whole house. Probably somebody he killed. It's the house of somebody that he killed. He probably killed some old lady and took over her house. And she just got a bunch of medicines that he taken for whatever his fucking psychosis is. Yeah, he had all the pills in the medicine cabinet with somebody else's name on it. The cat somehow got into the pills. I don't know if they said the pills might have been in the trash can, but even if they was in the trash can, they was inside of a bottle. I've never seen a cat open up a bottle of anything, even if they was playing with it or hitting it around or some shit like that. That's my one theory. I mean, that's my one piece of evidence. He in a house by himself with a cat, medicine cabinet filled with somebody else's pills, oxycodone or oxycontin or whatever the hell it was. So, and the filmmakers, they intentionally show us this, I guess to explain where the pills came from, but they hurry up and brush past it to where as though, okay, you got a medicine cabinet for the pills, but don't worry about that. Just worry about the dead cat and his obsession with Nikki. But no, why you got a medicine for the pills? Even if that was his grandmother's pills, it's like, okay, my grandmother died, let me get rid of this medicine cabinet full of fucking prescription pills that me or anybody else could steal, overdose on, or sell or whatever. So, I mean, maybe he was selling the pills. Maybe they really were his grandmother's. But the whole thing was weird because the house, you never see a second bedroom. So if there was a place that he was sharing with his grandmother, where was he staying, or where was the grandmother staying? It wasn't no, like, nothing else was in the house to show that it was his house from the jump, or that he was living in a house with an elderly lady. Yeah, you see the bedroom and you see like certain shit in the bedroom, but it's like it's only one bedroom in a small ass house. You see the kitchen, you see the living room, you see the bedroom. So it's obviously only one house. I mean, only one bedroom. So if you're living in there with another grown ass adult, you at least have another bedroom where you have a hospital bed or some other kind of bed where the other person stay at. So that was my first like little red flag. Like, this motherfucker serial killer, he done killed this old lady. Cat all sad, so cat probably did herself on purpose. But bitch, you just killed my owner. I really love this old lady. You know, my third piece of evidence. Yeah, the first was the diner. The second was the medicine cabinet in the house. The third is he was a loner. Like, all he had was that friend group. You see what I'm saying? And that was only because they worked together in the music store. So they got together after work to hang out, and that was it. He didn't have no other friends. Nobody else talked to him. If he did have a grandmother, if the grandmother was dead, where was his parents at? Maybe his parents were dead too. If that was the case, he was really alone in the world. That's kind of like awkward to be at that age, whether they was in their 20s. Late 20s, early 30s, to be that much isolated to where though like you don't have no friends, you don't have no contact with nobody else outside of the people that you work with, and that's it. Like even when he was walking around with blood all over him, nobody said anything about that when he showed up into the store to buy another candy bar. Or was it a candy bar or was it a stick? I don't know what the fuck that shit was. But when he showed up to buy another wish stick, he was covered in blood. The shop owner was like, and he asked no question like, dude, why the fuck you got blood all over you? That was kind of weird to where as though like, I know if I saw a crazy motherfucker walking around with blood, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna call the police and ask the dude like, yo, you alright? You just killed somebody? Like, what the fuck is going on? So that was, that's my third piece of evidence. He was a loner. Most serial killers, they're not real social. They're all loners, or they only pretend to act socially so that you don't think they serial killers. Because most people know like you can't live in this world alone. Like you isolated because you don't like people or you're afraid that people won't like you. Fourth is he claimed that he loved Nikki, but like to do that to somebody that you love is crazy. Like she gave him all the opportunity in the world to tell her how he felt about her. Like from the start of the movie, the filmmakers want you to think like that's what he want. He wanted to confess his love to Nikki. He wanted to tell her what's going on, but he's just scared, which is cool. You're nervous. You don't want to tell somebody that you got a crush on them because you don't want them to be devastated if they don't feel the same way, which is understandable. When he go to tease her and he call her freaky Nikki, and she's like, yo, don't call me that again. Then she come back like, hey, listen, do you like me or not? Because you acting weird as a motherfucker. Even for your weird ass. Like this whole conversation that we just had in the car was hella weird. Like, what's going on? She gave him an opportunity to tell her. He chickened out. Because he chickened out, his response to that was, oh yeah, now I'm gonna make you love me. That was his wish. Like his wish wasn't to be like, oh, please make me more desirable to Nikki, or please make me into the man that she'll find attractive and that she can love. His wish was to force her to love him. Like, that's not love. You don't love somebody, but you gotta make them return the affection. Like, that's possession. Like you giving yourself dominion over them. So he really didn't love her in the first place. He was obsessed with her. He liked her. In his mind, she was the air that he breathed and whatever else he said during the opening monologue of how he felt about her. In his mind, he created those feelings for somebody that he had an unhealthy obsession with. That wasn't love right there, to where as though he had to make a wish for her to return feelings that he obviously never even had for her. It was that's serial killer type shit. And anybody, y'all you ain't gotta agree with me, but to me that's like borderline serial killer shit. To where as though motherfucker don't fuck with you, motherfucker don't like you, don't love you for one. So you gotta do certain shit to make a motherfucker love you. Manipulating them, blackmailing them, kidnapping them. What's it called? I was say the Epstein syndrome. What the hell is that shit called? Where the captive fall in love with their kidnapper. It's a word for it. I'll probably look it up after this, but yeah, like that's what he was basically trying to create. Like, you're gonna love me and I'm gonna make you love me, but I'm gonna hold you hostage at the same time. All that was done before he even snapped his stick. Like, he already had those intentions. Like, so the only people that think like that are serial killers. Okay, my fifth thing is the curse really didn't, or the wish really didn't change how Bear felt about Nikki. He probably would have kept her hostage and still acting crazy long as she stayed with him, because there was a moment in the movie where she was sleeping and her real self came through and she was like, Bear, kill me. Like, this is not me. This is the only way I can talk to you. The body is asleep. So something was holding her inside her own body, and that was the only way she could break free. She had moments where she broke free where, it first started at the car, she broke free. It was like, why am I acting strange? Then the thing got back control of him. Then when he went back to the house and he was making out, she freaked out like, bitch, why the fuck am I kissing you? So she freaked out right there. There was another quick little scene where there was a picture of them, and at the bottom it was written, not me. So she broke free of that to put a little message on the picture that said, not me, to let whoever was looking at the picture that this is not her. acting, showing affection to this man. Another instance was when they was at the party, she broke free and started beating herself in the head. And again, where she woke up in the middle of the night. And with that was the one scene that let the viewers know that he was going to continue on with this shit no matter what. Because his first response was, "What's so bad about being with me?" Like, even if you love somebody, you can't force them to be with you. Serial killer shit. So he was going to force her to be with him no matter what. Like, the bitch could have chopped her legs off to keep herself from leaving the house, and he would have found a way to make sense of it to where as though, like, okay, now the bitch ain't got no legs, but she still loved me, so I'm just gonna get her a wheelchair and make up some excuse why she chopped her legs off. Because even when he was sitting in the car talking to the chick, Sarah, he was like, oh yeah, she's fine, she's just acting crazy because her father died. And the girl was like, no, that's not the reason. Also, even if he didn't make the wish, he probably would have never talked to her. He never would have told her how he felt. He still would have been lonely. Nikki would have quit the job and moved away or whatever the hell she planned on doing. And if that would have happened, like I said, he would have put that focus and all that loneliness that he put on Nikki, he would have just put it on another female. Or maybe he did put it on another female before he met this little friend group in this little town. So maybe there's somebody out there that he done killed or obsessed over, or was stalking or whatever. Go back to my point, if Nikki wasn't the first one, she was just the next one. They wanted Bear to come across as the nice guy. They wanted him to come across as the nice guy that made a mistake, unraveled, out of control. And that wasn't the case. Like, he didn't just, misuse his words and say, I want Nikki to love me more than anybody else in the world. He purposely did that because he chickened out. He couldn't tell this girl how he felt. So it was like, I don't think he was a nice guy at all in the whole film. If anything, he was the motherfucker that initiated all this tragedy that happened to him. He got his best friend killed, or somebody that was supposed to be his best friend. I'm gonna keep saying his name Ian. His name might not have been Ian. I really wasn't paying attention to their names other than the girl Sarah, because those two people, they were innocent. All three of them were innocent in the whole thing, even Nikki. But Sarah really liked him and was trying to help him get away from Nikki, and ended up getting her face bashed in with a fucking brick. And even then, he still wasn't like, oh my God, like, I gotta get away from this crazy ass bitch. He went to the thing, he went back to the store to buy another wish stick, but he bought 2 wish sticks. Because the man told him, like, okay, well maybe you get somebody else to make a wish for you to counterbalance the wish that you just made. So he went and brought 2 wish sticks, tried to use his friend to make the wish that he never made the wish in the first place. So if that's what would have happened, say the homeboy's like, okay, I believe you, so I'm gonna break the stick, make the wish for you that you never made your wish in the first place. He still had a backup stick to make another wish. Like, boy, you ain't learned your lesson from the first time you made a dumbass wish. So you was going to make the wish, so you was going to use your homeboy to make the wish that you never made a wish, but you had a backup stick to make another wish because you didn't want to lose Nikki. You just didn't want her to be as obsessed over you as she was. He was going to always do what he was going to do regardless. He was going to keep her hostage regardless of how everything played out. If he had the wish stick or not, he was always going to be obsessed over this girl. He was always planning to do something to this girl to make her love him. He wasn't bold enough or man enough to let the relationship play out naturally. You see what I'm saying? Like, he was always going to take action to where those, like, you was either going to love me or not. That's serial killer shit. So that's my take on Obsession. Bear, he was a real villain of the movie, for one. And because he was a villain of the movie, he was either already a serial killer or he was about to become one. That was the origin stories of a serial killer, if he wasn't already a serial killer to begin with. If he didn't already kill that old lady that he said was his grandmother, he was going to kill Nick. Maybe that's what he do. He go from town to town, find somewhere to stay, making up some elaborate story that he's new in the town. He work a little mundane job where nobody really notice him at a music shop, because people that go in the music shop, they just go in there to buy the music, buy the piece of equipment, and they go. They really don't worry too much about who's behind the counter. Like I say, he had his little core group of friends, 3 people. Even the boss probably didn't like him. That's my take on Obsession. I think he was a serial killer. Nikki was the first victim or the next victim. I'm glad that whatever he wished for, played out like it played out, because you just can't take somebody's free will just because you want them to treat you a certain way. You basically made that girl a hostage in her own body and then you benefited off the fact that she couldn't fight back. That's serial killer shit. You can't say the word on YouTube, but you basically restrained this girl, did whatever you wanted to do with her body for your enjoyment. So that, like I said, that's what make him the villain of the movie. All the opportunity in the world, tell this girl how he felt, see what her feelings was towards him, and let it play out naturally. But like I said, instead, he was obsessed over her, did what he did, made sure that she couldn't leave, tried to explain her actions away to the friend group so it wouldn't look as weird as it did. And then once he saw that he couldn't reverse the shit, he still tried to manipulate the situation to where, like say, he had a backup wish stick to make another wish after he reversed the first wish or modified the first wish to where though she wasn't as crazy. So let me know what y'all think. Like I said, I could be wrong. The director or the writer or the filmmaker probably didn't even want to dwell on that issue. I see what they did with the plot of the story is a guy hopelessly in love with a girl. He made a mistake and made a wish that she loved him more than anything in the world, and that was a result of it. I think it's like an old movie called Monkey's Paw or something like that, which was the same concept where I think if you had a monkey paw and you made the wish went terribly wrong because the monkey paw was cursed or something like that. But I don't think this One Wish Willow was actually a curse. It just gave you what you asked for. Do you ask for $1 billion? $1 billion dropped from the sky. Not saying that it wouldn't be $1 billion missing from somewhere else where now he was on the run with $1 billion. But with Bear being a serial killer, he got what he deserved for doing that to that girl. If that was the first girl trying to serial killer shit or put her in a serial killer situation where she had to fight for her life. She was basically fighting for her life the whole movie. Like she was trying to break free of whatever control he placed over her. So at the end of the movie where he had to take the pills, the grandmother pills or wherever he got these pills from, he got what he deserved. He had to die at the end. Nikki gonna be hella traumatized. Because she finally snapped out of it. With 3 dead bodies in the house, 3 people that she considered her friends. Like the movie showed, she was aware of what was going on the whole time. Even when he called the guy on the phone, he was like, yeah, hey guy, what's going on? Do you want to speak to her? And you could hear her in the background screaming. Like she was being tormented the whole time. I don't know how long the situation played out, whether it was weeks or months, but she was being tormented the whole time. So even when Bear knew that she was being tormented, he still never made no attempt to free her of the situation that he put in. Serial killer shit. I'm gonna keep saying serial killer shit. Put that down in the comments if you listening to this, if you watching this. # serial killer shit. But that's my take on it. I'm gonna try to do more of these movies that I watch. Like Hear Me Out. So it's just not like a review of the movie is my take on the movie. So let me know what y'all think. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if you agree with me. Until the next time, just the first segment of it. It'll get better. Like I said, I'm just rambling right now. Spitting shit off the top of my head like a freestyle. Yeah, let me know what y'all think. Obsession, Bear was a serial killer. Appreciate y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe at the end or at the bottom or however y'all do it. And catch you on the next one.